Max Irons, it's great to talk to you.
Very nice
Thanks
to
for being
talk to
here.
you. Thank you.
Welcome to the Twin Cities here in Minnesota, and we are talking all things Condor.
Hey.
Max Irons, you are the star, and I'm 5 episodes in. I'm trying to binge it as fast as possible. Only had access to it a couple days, so
You're 5
haven't
episodes
finished the
in?
season. Yeah, I'm 5 episodes in. My wife and I kind of got hooked already.
You have seen 3 more episodes than I have.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's
Tell me
impressive.
what happens.
I can't. No spoilers on this show. So anyway, tell the fans at home that may not know what Condor is all about, what the show's about.
Well, I play Joe Turner, who is a young analyst. The only problem being that the solution they found results in the death of millions of American citizens and millions of Middle Eastern citizens. So Joe accidentally stumbles upon this plot, and consequently, within hours of doing so, his entire office is gunned down, and he finds himself on the run, being pursued by highly trained professional killers.
And speaking of being on the run, it seems like a very physical show for you. Number one, what did you do to get in shape? And number two, are you doing those stunts, or do they bring somebody in? How does that work?
Yeah, in terms of getting in shape, I don't know. I did a little bit of running, went to the gym 1 or 2 times. There is a lot of running for me in this show, and there's a little bit of fighting, and for the majority of it, I did my own stunts. It's always the funnest side of things. You get to be a big kid on set for the day. It's great.
And you are filling some kind of big shoes here. Robert Redford, some people at home may have heard of him because this is loosely a remake of 3 Days of the Condor. What is it like to be playing a role that he established, he started, and try to kind of give it your own spin and your own take on that?
Well, you know, we had a rule on set that you're not allowed to mention his name, and you have broken that
I broke
rule.
it.
And now I'm a fit of insecurity. No, I'm only kidding. I mean, you know, Robert Redford is one of the most talented, charismatic actors, and that film was timely. You know, it followed Watergate, so people were beginning to feel they were feeling very suspicious of their government. So in terms of stepping into his shoes, firstly, this is a reimagining too much, but yeah, I hope if he ever watches this that he likes the direction we took it in.
For what it's worth, I love what you're doing. My wife loves what you're doing. So you're definitely doing something right. And
Thank you.
You have a lot of history doing British film and TV. Now you're kind of blowing up here in the States. What is the difference between working in British film and television and American?
Blimey, what's the difference? I don't know. Well, the kind of size and scope and the size of the audience is obviously enormously different. The production value on this show was enormous. The vast pool of talented actors that you guys have access to and you draw from is fantastic. I mean, in this we have Bob Balaban, we've got Brendan Fraser, we've got Mira Sorvino, William Hurt, all delivering incredible performances. So it's just a different environment. Not better, not worse, just different. But safe to say, the American talent in this show is extraordinary.
Okay, and my question, being from America, would be, how do you lose your accent? You're probably saying, how do I create an American accent? How do you change your accent based on your role?
Oh, God, I don't know. Well, firstly, I have an accent coach who helps me. But then just listen and try to talk in it as much as possible. Yeah, just try and get an ear for it. It's a tricky one because the mechanics of English and English American are very, very different. But, you know, once you get the hang of it, I think it's okay.
And one thing that I really liked about the show, because I'm old enough to remember Encino Man, that was a great movie when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Brendan Fraser, as you mentioned, is in this show. What was it like to work with him? And this is definitely a unique role for him. It seems like something he's never done before. What was it like working with him?
Oh man, he is so good in this. It's terrifying how good he is. Unfortunately, though, me and him didn't cross paths.
Oh really?
We have our own separate storylines that intersect, but we as characters don't intersect. So unfortunately, I didn't really get to work with him. We met in the makeup trailer and met before and after production, obviously. And he's a great guy, and he's fantastic in this show.
And this show is on AT&T Audience Network. Number one, did you ever think that you would be working for a channel called AT&T? And so, I mean, the whole landscape of TV and film has changed so much. There's so many different outlets. What do you think of the current environment of working in that business and how it's changing so much with streaming and all of that? And yeah, what's that like? I mean, has it changed the way you look at things differently? Who you want to work with? Is streaming better than TV? What's it like being in that environment right now?
I mean, the landscape is changing enormously, and there are far more avenues to get your entertainment. Working for AT&T has been a joy. I mean, when you look at the film 3 Days of the Condor, it was a classic cult success, but it had 2 hours with which to tell a complex story, and it had to make certain sacrifices as a result. With AT&T, with long-form television, with subscription and people dedicating the time to sit down and binge over a TV show, you really have the ability to get into the nuts and bolts and ideological questions within a show. And Condor poses a lot of those questions. It poses a lot of questions of the audience, which I don't think you'd be able to do so effectively in the format of film. So the more long-form television, as far as I'm concerned, the better.
And there's definitely some good shows on Audience. One show that I watched last year, the entire season, was Loudermilk. I'm pumped for season 2, so that's definitely on my radar. If you haven't seen that show, you should check that out.
I've heard a great deal about it, but yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
It's great. So I love what they're doing. It's awesome that they brought this show along because it's just action-packed. Like you said, it's kind of like a long movie. And it's a great show. Great job, Max Irons. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
And Twin Cities, make sure you check out Condor on AT&T Audience Network Wednesdays at 9 p.m.
Thank you.